legendary Mongolian death worm. A fearsome, the first mention of it inspired nearly a century of tales. But what if these were more than just tales? Hello and welcome back to Life's Biggest Questions. I'm your host Rebecca Felgate, and today I'm asking, what if the Mongolian death worm was real? Before we slither into this video, I just want to ask you guys if you believe in the death worm or other elusive creatures like it, like the Loch Ness Monster for example. Let me know in the comments section down below. The Mongolian death worm first came to light in the West when explorer and naturalist Roy Chapman Andrews wrote about his expedition into the Gobi Desert in 1926. The acclaimed explorer found that Mongolian natives believed firmly in the presence of a fearsome monster in the Gobi Desert, although he himself was not convinced. He said that officials, including the Mongolian Prime Minister, took the worm-like monster very seriously, and in his book, he wrote that none of those present had ever seen the creature, but they all firmly believed in its existence and described it minutely. The worm is said to be between 2 to 5 feet long, so up to 1.5 meters. It is supposed to be shaped like a sausage, with neither a head or a tail. It is said to be so poisonous that touching it would cause instant death. Not only that, the legend was embellished over the years, with some accounts saying that the worm spews deadly sulfuric acid and emits a similarly deadly electrical charge. Basically, it's toxic and scary, and honey has no time for it. People that have had time for it, however, have been eager cryptozoologists. Dozens have flocked to the wild climes of the Gobi Desert in search of this seemingly mythical beast, and have come back empty-handed. But what if the death worm was indeed real? Well, firstly, Wormy Lad needs to be pretty versatile. There is a reason why not many things live and grow in the desert. It's hot, but it's also very cold, like really cold. The worm of doom and death and poison would have to be able to deal with the fluctuating temperatures in the Gobi Desert. It can reach plus 45 Celsius, but can also plummet to minus 40, so plus 113 Fahrenheit to minus 40 Fahrenheit. It's extreme. The winds are intense too. Surviving itself would be one issue, but say the superworm of death could do that, what exactly would it hunt? It's no good being a death worm if you can't eat anything. Well, actually, all that being said, the Gobi Desert is home to a number of wildlife species such as wild horses, jerboas, camels, snow leopards, and the Central Asian viper, which we will get back to. Normal worms eat things like decaying roots and leaves and fungus, and often rotting remains of animals. But come on, with a name like Mongolian death worm, I don't imagine the sneaky sausage would be blubbering around desert carcasses. Perhaps it would instead go on a rampage, killing desert inhabitants. Maybe it wouldn't even mean to. If coming into contact with it is as toxic as they say, then maybe it would leave a trail of undevoured but poisoned bodies, and the humans would only start noticing when sickness swept the Gobi. There are also some people living in the Gobi Desert, around 3 people per square mile. These humans could very much be in danger, although, should they really even be worried? The Gobi Desert is 1.295 million square kilometers, which is pretty big. One death worm in a space that large, what harm could it really do to civilians? Well though, what if it had a whole family of death worm babies? What then? Huh? If that was the case, perhaps a team would be taken to the desert to seek and destroy these slithery killers. But 1, if no one has ever had a true first-hand account of the worm, how are they gonna find it? And 2, how does one even kill a death worm if it has a poison spitter thing going on? Well, this is the modern age, and I'm sure we could fashion some kind of non-corrosive suit. My main question though is, if you chop it in 2, will it become 2 Mongolian death worms? Like, you know, when you cut a worm in half. Maybe the death worm is real in some senses though. The Gobi Desert was home to dinosaurs. Could it be a leftover dino that somehow managed to survive all these years? Well, while a lot of scary-looking dinosaur fossils have been found in the Gobi, there is nothing that matches the description of the death worm, so it is double as unlikely that it is a dino worm slithering around somewhere. Could the death worm actually be the aforementioned Asian viper? This snake is rare and not well documented, but it is said to be highly venomous, rather like Owlmate the death worm. That being said, there are about 30 inches in length, so basically small compared to the worm. Maybe it's a huge freak viper, or maybe, just maybe, the Mongolian death worm is just another myth, another scare story locals like to share on dark evenings to spark fear and excitement, and maybe a dash of wonder and mysticism amongst one another. But like Nessie, the Sasquatch, El Chupacabra, the legends of the Mongolian death worm are enough to keep us wondering. So, what do you guys think would happen if the Mongolian death death worm was real? Let me know in the comments section down below. Also, why don't you let me know what video you would like us to make next? Thank you guys for tuning into this episode of Life's Biggest Questions. I'm your host, Rebecca Felgate. I'll catch you in the next video, but until then, stay curious, leave a thumbs up, and never ever stop questioning.